Hi students, in this session we will be revising regarding the physical examination. So physical examination, it is the process by which examiner is observing the body or examining the patient's body. Why they are examining the patient's body? So that they can able to find out whether there is any physical problems, whether there is presence or absence of any physical problems in the client. And when we are doing the physical examination, we will be obtaining the information which is related to the health of the patient, and the examiner will be using those data, those information to identify, analyze and synthesize, and then he will be coming into a conclusion regarding the presence or absence of any physical problems in the client. Okay, so that is physical examination. So the exact definition, if you're seeing physical examination or physical assessment, it is a systematic data collection where an examiner is using his own senses, that is he will use his sight, hearing capacity, smell, touch, everything, so that the examiner can able to find out some health problems in the client. Okay, so what is physical assessment? Physical assessment means it is a systematic data collection, and that data is collected by using the senses of the examiner such as sight, hearing, smell and touch, so that the health problems in a client can be identified and we can able to give the prompt treatment related to those detected health problems. And whenever we are doing this physical examination, the physical examiner will be using 4 techniques to do the assessment. So what are the 4 techniques? Number 1, it is inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation. Okay, so by using these 4 techniques, and before that the examiner will be taking the history, the complete, the thorough history of the client, it will be taken, and then he will be doing the physical examination by using the 4 techniques, that is inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation. What is the purpose of doing the physical examination? So the physical examination, usually it is done to find out the general status of the health. And whenever you're doing the physical examination, you will be getting a chance to talk with the patients, where the patient will be verbalizing his problems with you. The patient will be experiencing the what are the signs and symptoms that he is experiencing. He might share with you, so that you can use those data also for your next step in the nursing process, that is diagnosing, planning, implementation and evaluation. And the physical examination, this is recommended once in a year, and this physical examination is recommended especially when the people is crossing the age of 50. So whenever we are doing the physical examination, we can able to find out what are the possible diseases in a client, and those possible diseases can be treated very early. We can able to identify any issues that may become medical concerns in the future, and we can able to update, we will be getting updates regarding immunization. Then when we are doing the physical examination, we can be able to ensure that we are maintaining a healthy diet and exercise routine in the client. Also, we are making the nurse client relationship or doctor client relationship. We are building a relationship and we are maintaining that. So these are the purposes of doing a physical examination. So whenever we are doing a physical examination, we can able to get the extra data, that is we will be analyzing the patient, and also whenever we are talking with the client, we will be getting some more information which the client is experiencing in his present time. And whenever the physical examination is done, we are getting a chance to find out all the possible diseases in the client, and also we can able to give the appropriate treatment. We can able to identify all the issues which will be coming as a medical concerns in the future. Also, we can able to update any necessary information which is related to the immunization. We are maintaining a healthy diet and a exercise routine in the client when we are doing the physical examination, and also we are building a relationship, an interpersonal relationship, or we can call it as a therapeutic relationship. So moving on to our next topic, that is important aspects of physical examination. So what are the important aspects of preliminaries, you can call it as, for the physical examination? The examiner has to continuously speak with the client, okay, and he should show care to the diseases. That is, the examiner should show concern related to the patient questions. Related to the disease, what are all the questions the patient is asking, the examiner should show the concern. That is, the examiner should answer those questions. It cannot only release patient's nervousness but also help to establish a good physical physician-patient relationship. So whenever you are talking, the nervousness, you are not only subsiding the nervous, or you are not only releasing the nervousness in a patient, you are building a relationship with the client also. Then, what are the four cardinal principles of physical examination, or what are the modes, or what are the methods, techniques of doing a physical examination? Inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. One more is there, you can use the olfactory, that is smelling. Smelling is also a technique that we are using. See, sometimes whenever there is a bad odor, like if the pus collection is there and you are getting a foul smell or a bad odor, so that time you can able to find out that maybe there is some sort of infections in the client. So teach the eyes to see, finger to feel, and the ears to hear. So all the examiners, whenever you are doing the physical examination, you are teaching the eye to see, to observe the things around, the fingers should feel the things, and your ears should hear each and everything. Then only you will be getting a complete or a proper data related to the client's physical status. So let's go one by one in detail, that is inspection. So in the inspection, you are using your eyes, vision, to distinguish or to find out what is normal and what is abnormal in a client. So body parts, they are inspected to identify the color, the shape, the symmetry, the movement, pulsation, texture, everything. So whenever you're doing the inspection, you are using your eyes, you are using the vision to distinguish out what are the abnormal findings related to the color, related to the shape, symmetry, movement of the extremities or movement of the body, regarding the pulse, and even the texture, okay, so that you can able to distinguish what is abnormal and what is normal. So inspection. So whenever you are inspecting, you can able to inspect the eyes, the mouth, the nose, then the movement of the extremities, the posture, each and everything you can able to inspect. So inspection, it is nothing but observing. What are the principles of inspection? So whenever you are doing an inspection, see that there is adequate availability of the light, and all the parts, see which part you want to observe, that part should be exposed completely, and you have to maintain the right position, okay. So that is the next principle. Then you have to inspect each area, that is for the size, for the shape, color, symmetry, position, and for the abnormalities you want to inspect the particular part. So if possible, you have to compare the side which is not affected also, so that you can able to find out where, see, the comparing both the sides, where you will be finding out whether there is that is abnormal or normal, so that you want to do. And if you are inspecting the body cavities, if an additional light is there, that also you can use. For example, mouth, if you want to inspect or observe, so that time you can use a torch light, or inside the nasal cavity, if you want to inspect or observe, you can use a torch light, so that we can able to find out the abnormalities or the normalcy with the help of adequate light. So next one is palpation. So in the palpation, you are using your hands to touch the body parts, and then you are finding out the abnormality which is present in the client's body. So either you can use your fingertips or you can use your palms, whereby you are determining again the size, shape, what is the configuration of the underlying body structure and what is the pulsation of the blood vessels. Even you can able to find out whenever you are palpating, you can able to find out the outline of all the organs such as thyroid, spleen, liver, and whether there will be some mass present inside or not. Some abnormal tumors, abnormal mass is present inside the body part. So that also you can find out. Even you can able to find out the body temperature, moisture, turgor, texture, tenderness, thickness, and any distension in the body parts can be able to find out with the help of the palpation. So what is palpation? Palpation, it is nothing but you are using your hands to touch the body parts and thereby you are getting the enough data. So using the hands means either you can able to use the fingertips or you can able to use the palms. So by doing the palpation, you are finding out the size and shape of a particular structure, outline of an organ, mobility of the masses, pulsation of the blood vessels. You can even find out the temperature, moisture, thickness, distension, turgor, tenderness, everything which is related to any part of the body. Okay, so that is palpation. See, in this picture, you can able to see the examiner, he is palpating the abdominal cavity. So, whereby he when he able to find out the masses or any other abnormality. Then, types of palpation. So, moving on to the types of palpation, there are two types of palpation, that is light palpation and deep palpation. So what is light palpation? Using the flat part of your right hand or your parts of the finger, not the fingertips. So see, whenever you're doing the palpation with the flat surface of your right hand or with the pads of the fingers, you will call it as a light palpation. Here the fingers you are uh, placing it together. There should not be any gap between the fingers and you should not use your fingertips, and the hand should be lifted from one area to another area. See, you should not slide it over the abdominal wall or you should not slide it over the part where you do the palpation. There what you're doing exactly, you are lifting the hands from one area to another. You are not sliding it over the surface, you are lifting your hands from one area to another. And what you are using, you are not using your fingertips, you are using the flat surface of the hand and the pads of the finger, whereby you are clenching the fingers or putting the fingers together. There should not be gap between the fingers. Next is deep palpation. So deep palpation, what you are using here, used to determine the organ size as well as the presence. The flat portion of the right hand, it is placed over the abdomen, and what you have to do, you have to gently apply some pressure. Understood? So whenever you are using the flat portion of the right hand or your dominant hand, and whenever you are putting some pressure, so that you can able to find out or you can able to determine the presence of abdominal masses or any type of masses, that type of palpation you call it as deep palpation. Understood the difference? In the light palpation, you are not putting on the pressure. With simply light from one part to the other area, you are just lifting your hands and doing the examination or doing the palpation. Deep palpation means with the flat portion of your right hand or dominant hand, you are applying some pressure gently inside so that you can able to determine the presence of abdominal masses. So that type of palpation is called deep palpation. Clear? So if you're seeing here, the examiner, he or she is applying a pressure over the abdominal surface so that the mass could be found out. So that is the two types of palpation. Then, what are the principles whenever you have to follow whenever you're doing the palpation? You should have to short your fingernails, and before placing your hands over the patient's body, you have to warm your hands. Encourage the patient to continuously breathe normally throughout the palpation process. If pain is experienced during the palpation, discontinue the palpation. and inform the patient where, when and how the touch will occur, especially when the patient cannot see what are you doing. Okay, so number one, if you're seeing the principles, you have to cut short the fingernails. Before you are touching the patient's body, you should warm your hands. Encourages the patients to breathe normally throughout the process. Next one, if the patient is feeling any pain, you have to encourage him, or you have to educate him to tell him, and then you have to discontinue the procedure. And clearly you have to explain the procedure, what procedure you are going to do, or what you are going to do to the patient, that you have to clearly explain before you are starting the palpation procedure. So these are the principles. The third technique is the percussion. So what is percussion? It is nothing but with the hands, one or both the hands, you are striking the body surface so that you will get some sound, and that sound you will be identifying it so that you can able to determine the location, size and density of the underlying structure inside the body. Also, we can able to find out an abnormal sound such as a mass or substances like fluid, air inside an organ or a cavity. So to find out air, fluid, mass, location, size and density of any structure, we are striking the body surface with one or both the hands so that a sound will be produced from that area, and we will be identifying that sound in order to find out the abnormality. So this technique is known as percussion. Clear? So what is percussion? A technique whereby the examiner is using both the hands or one hand to strike the body parts so that a sound will be produced from the body, and that is used to identify the abnormality present. The abnormal sound could suggest the mass or air or fluid inside an organ or a cavity. So that is percussion. See, if you're seeing here, see, this is the percussion. Like the percussion is also direct percussion and indirect percussion is there. See, if you're seeing this picture, this is an indirect percussion. See, this is direct percussion. So what is direct percussion and indirect percussion? So direct percussion, see, if you want to find out the sinuses, so what you will be doing, you will be touching with your fingertips relate in the sinus part, the sinus cavity. See, here you can able to touch. So directly touching the part, that is known as direct percussion. What is indirect percussion? Indirect percussion means you will be keeping your non-dominant hand over the surface, and over the non-dominant hand you will be tapping your fingers. Okay, that is known as indirect percussion. Understood the difference? If you're seeing here, non-dominant hand is placed over the body surface, and with the dominant fingers the examiner is doing the percussions. Okay, so tapping the surface, then we can able to hear the sound. So this is indirect percussion. If you're seeing the previous pictures, indirectly we can able to touch that, find out whether there is any mass or whether there is any inflammation in any parts or not. So that is direct percussion. Then the last technique is the auscultation. So what is auscultation? Whenever the examiner is listening to the body sounds with the help of a stethoscope. Okay, and what all sounds we can able to hear? Cardiovascular, respiratory, gastrointestinal. So all the sounds can be able to hear. The bowel sounds, breath sounds, heart sound, blood movement, and thereby we can able to distinguish a normal sound and an abnormal sound. So what is auscultation? It is nothing but listening to the body sounds with the help of a stethoscope. So the body sounds we can able to analyze, or we can able to examine the body system such as cardiovascular system, respiratory system and the gastrointestinal system. So this is auscultation. So auscultation with the help of a stethoscope we can able to find out the abnormal sounds. Okay. So in this session we have saw regarding what is physical examination, Then what are the principles behind the physical examination and what are the methods of physical examination? So what are the methods of physical examination? There are four methods of physical examination, four assessment methods. Number one, it is, or techniques you can call. So number one, it is inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation. Inspection, it is nothing but you are observing the body parts of a client. Palpation, it is palpation means you are palpating the area by using the flat part of your hand or with your pad of your fingers, not with your fingertips. Two types of palpation is there. What are the two types? Light palpation and deep palpation. Third one, it is percussion. So percussion is you're striking the body parts so that we can able to get a sound, and that sound will be indicating an abnormal mass, air or fluid present inside the organ or a cavity. Two types of percussion is there, direct percussion and indirect percussion. And last one is the auscultation, whereby you are using a stethoscope so that you can able to find out the body sounds, especially in the cardiovascular system, respiratory system. Okay, so and even the gastrointestinal system. So in this session we have saw regarding the physical examination techniques. I hope you have understood this session. Thank you, dear students.